to execute the test every time that I need. So that's why I use and I love to use mixtest.watch, which is an amazing plugin. In my opinion, this is the best one, to be honest. This is gonna start executing my tests. And I want to see the errors. And now, as you can see, the first error is about the path, saying that the direction does not match. So let's start providing this file for this test and start creating our test. So here, what we are gonna do is create the file, which is inside the category, controllers folder, called category underscore controller underscore test exs. When I do it, my test is gonna rerun again. And now we have zero failures, but we don't have our test. So we need to provide our test. I strongly recommend you to read about a little bit more about the test, but I'm gonna provide you an introduction to start thinking about tests using Phoenix and Elixir. So here we're gonna create a def module, a module, which is gonna be back and web dot category controller, the module that we're going to test, and we are going to provide after controller test. And if you go to our support files over here, as you can see, we have a way. I strongly recommend you to read more about how it works, but it provides us a way to test connections. So we're gonna use this module to start testing our application. So here, and then we can start describing our test list. And then our first test is going to be a list of categories. And after that, I will explain to you how the connection case works. So if you go to this module and go to the bottom, as you can see, this provides to us a setup tags, and it will provide to us a way to create a connection, to test the connection, everything that you need to start testing a connection. And one of the things that it provides to us is a connection. So if I go to my file, I include a comma over here, and after including the comma, connection and connection, we already have our test. Let's make this one false, just to show you how it works. It's running our tests. So now what's happened is that our test is failing. But the most important things here that you can keep in mind is the communication between our test and this module. So if I go to this one and just replace connection to pumpkin, let's see what's going to happen. It's running. Let me rerun my test again. compiling. I'm gonna wait for a little while. And now our test is failing just because I changed the name over here. I'm gonna go to the rollback the code to connection, and I want to see at least it is working. And there you go. We have our first test failing. Let's start creating our first API. So Elixir use a lot REST in our language. So one of the things that we're going to create is a get. You have this function over here. If you access to probably Phoenix Contest, you'll see how you can create your tests, and you probably will see this function over here. So here we need to pass our connection and the directory and the path about our URL path. So I'm gonna create our URL path, which is going to be API categories. We're not gonna pass params. This is our first URL, and we're gonna use the assert JSON response will be our connection that we have now, 200 equals, and this is gonna return for us, hi, my first API using Elixir. So this is our test. Let's make this one pass. And now this is complaining that the route, no route found, API categories. How can we provide this path to Elixir? One of the ways to provide this one, you need to open the folder called backend underscore web router. And after that, we will have our get, but you need to pay attention about the scope. Here the scope is a slash, and I'm gonna provide a scope to use API slash API and provide our first resource. So this is gonna be API and then categories. We will call a module called category controller, and we will call the function category index. Let's see what's gonna happen now. Probably this error is gonna be changed. And now it's complaining that we have the backend category controller category, but it's undefined. And let's create this file now. So I'm gonna go ahead and creating this module. So I'm gonna create a file called category or controller.ex. Let's create the module. Module back and web.category controller. And then let's see what's gonna happen again. Now we need to provide this function over here in init. But to provide this function, we could use the backend web over here. That's in the add-on called controller, as we saw a couple minutes ago. Let's check our test again. Let's run the test. Come on, please. Let me restart this one. This is still running. Now, as you can see, it's not complaining about our dot init function, but complaining about the index function. Let's create the function index. Every time when you create a connection, controller, you always send the connection, and we always send the parameter. I'm not gonna explain the parameter now, but let's start returning something like status, okay, which is 200, and JSON will be an empty map. Let's see, let's take a look what's happening now in our test. Please run. It's compiling. And now, as you can see, the difference about our test and our API, that's the difference, the returns. Just go up and paste over here and see how it works. Let's see our test passing and start consuming our APIs. And it's running and passing. Cool. Let's see if I call my API, it's gonna work if I use a REST services. So here, I'm gonna use the Thunder client over here. I'm gonna create my first API. Here I'm gonna create a collection. And I will call my collection I don't know. I still don't know how to use this one. Import or reload new collection. Back ELX Pro. Back end. This is my collection, and I will create a new request, which is I'm gonna create a folder called categories. And inside my folder, I will create a new request, which is gonna be list all categories. So this is my first request. I'm gonna pass HTTP localhost 4000 API categories. Oops, what's happening? List all categories. Let me check what's, I understand what's happening. I'm executing my test, but I did not start I did not start my Elixir application. When I start my Elixir application, let's see what's gonna happen. And let's start sending a connection, a request using the GET. And there you go. We received the hi, my first API using Elixir. I know it's really simple, but I needed to explain to you how Elixir works and how to create APIs and how process works, how Dynamic Supervisor works, what is the flow to create our APIs before I created this API as you see. And now we're going to start moving faster. And this is our first API, our first class. I hope you enjoy. I'm just going to make just two more updates over here. And then we are going to finish our class. So here, one of the things that I usually do is execute the command mix format to format our code. And the another command is mix credo -- strict. And as you can see, this is recommend us some software design. I'm just going to move to this file over here. I will copy this ecto.sandbox, create an alias, and then I'm gonna copy this alias because I'm gonna use this a lot. Remove this piece of code, move to a connection case, just paste the alias that I already created. Remove this piece of code over here. Now I'm gonna move to channel case as well. Create this piece of code. Remove the ecto over here. Execute again the credo. And then everything is passing. I will commit this piece of code over here calling credo. Limitations. This one is the process ID that I showed to you. Show process ID. Now, create our first API using TDD. I'm gonna push this code over here. Sprint as well. And cool. Hope you enjoyed this class today. Hope to see you the next Tuesday. And see you. Bye-bye.